every time I've like been like, oh my God, I'm going to meet so-and-so. 2 seconds into the conversation, what are we doing? We're just talking about movies. Like we're all just fucking nerds. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's all we want to talk about. I love Ryan Gosling. It would be a dream to work with that man.
I love it. Did you see Barbie?
I did, yeah.
Did you like Barbie?
Well, everyone saw Barbie. The question is, did you see the Fall
no, because we had guests on. I have not seen it.
None of us have. And that's
I know. I want to see it so badly.
It looks great. Yeah.
I just just geeking out. I don't know. I did see. Why am I blanking now? This is so bad. I told them I would talk about it, and now I feel like a jerk. So we'll have to edit this too. I saw. It's so bad today. It's so bad.
Don't edit it.
I saw The Strangers, Chapter 1.
Nice. Awesome.
That's what I saw. It was like really interesting.
They went to the
premiere. I know.
Oh,
you guys were out of town this time, so to be fair,
I know. It's fine.
To be fair, you probably would have been there. Because I know last time you're like, whoa. And to be fair, I didn't get the Abigail invite. I got the tag along invite because Nadia couldn't go. So, but the Stranger Chapter 1, they shot all 3 films already. Mm-hmm. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, all at the same time.
40-page script.
They did an Avatar.
I know. It was kind of wild. 52 days, which is like unheard of.
I have an interview with the director Rennie Harlan,
who also did
Nightmare 4.
The horror alumnus. And now we have an up and coming horror legend with us today. I'm gonna call it.
No pressure, dude.
I'm gonna call it. Welcome to Scream Dreams, the nightmares that shaped us, where we talk to your favorite filmmakers and creatives about their nightmares and what actually terrifies them. I'm Catherine Corcoran.
I'm James A. Janisse, and today we have Francis Galluppi.
So close, dude. That was so close. It's okay. Yeah.
Italian?
Italian, yeah.
Hell yeah.
But hey, I get it every interview. Galluppi, Guadalupe. It's like
Guadalupe.
Every variation.
I feel like you should just not be non-committal.
Yeah, well, yeah, true.
And keep everyone on their toes.
Somebody said Francesco Galluppi. I was like, you got the last name right, and then added
that sounds like very like cinema verite. I feel,
Francois.
Yeah. I really like it. Thank you so much for being with us. I know you're on the press tour right now for Last Stop in Yuma County, but it is in theaters still.
It's in theaters,
so please go see it. It's amazing.
It is.
It stars our very own. Well, it doesn't star our very own Barbara Crampton, but she is in it. And
and when she shows up on screen, it's just like electrifying.
Yeah, it's Barbara doing like a character.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
Did you? So I heard that you reached out to your cast personally. This is your debut feature, and you reached out to your cast personally.
I had a casting director, David Guglielmo. It was like there was Richard Brake from the very beginning. Like I wrote that character with Rich in mind because I knew I had like a loose connection with him. So he was the first one to read the script. This was like 4 years ago. And he said, maybe it was longer. He said yes. We talked on the phone for like an hour and he's like, yeah, man, I love the script.
Did he know you beforehand?
No. Okay, he had just read the script, but so every few months I was calling him and being like, well, we're not there yet. Or I would give him like false hope, and then finally I got to call him and be like, it's actually real this time, and he was committed from day one.
So what was that change? Like you got greenlit?
It was it was a roller coaster of emotions, man.
Especially because I'm sorry, just to keep throwing these. You wrote this 4 years ago.
Yeah, this has been my life for 4.5 years. Yeah, Last Stop. I've had 2 children in the time that it took to make it. My daughter's like first words were like Last Stop. It was
like, Dad, where's Last Stop?
Yeah. Anytime she sees the logo, she's like Last Stop in Yuma County, because the logo I had from my buddy Matt Ryan Tobin did that when I wrote the script. So I've had that logo for like 4.5 years. The title
front
treatment.
page of the script.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I met James Clays, who owns a clothing company, at a film festival with my first short. He offered to, he was like, I'll give you $50,000 for whatever you do next, which for me was insane.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I was making short films for like $1,000. So I was like, and they're like 20 minutes long. So I was doing the math. I was like, I can make like 4 movies for $50,000. I didn't know. Yeah. So I wrote the script, found a location, wrote the script specifically based on this location. And then I was going to make it like the micro budget version of this film. And Rich said yes. So I was like, okay, maybe we can do this thing bigger. I didn't know any better at the time, so I ended up optioning the script to a company that was like, I'm going to make it for $5 million, or we're going to make it for $5 million. So I was like, holy shit, where do I sign? And very quickly realized that it was just, this is the name game. We need Jean-Claude Van Damme, like just names like that. It was so stupid.
What for the cast?
For the cast. That was the only way. It was like the foreign sales kind of thing.
Yeah. They want someone who can appeal to a foreign market, bring in international box office.
And for me, like I had this list of indie darlings that I was dying to work with. I wrote Charlotte with Jocelyn specifically in mind. You know, I wanted Jim Cummings. I wanted like this cast. So it was basically a nightmare for like a year and a half. One, having no luck getting these actors, and to be just like, I didn't want these actors. They weren't right for the movie. They're great, but they're not right for the movie. So once it expired, I pulled the option and I just started making the movie with no money. Like I was literally just like, I was writing letters to all these actors. I saw Sierra McCormick in The Vast Tonight. I saw Nicholas Logan in I Care a Lot. And I was like, they would be perfect, and wrote letters, got really lucky. Started prepping the hell out of it. So just like shot listing and going out to the location and like photo boarding everything and like pre-vising, finding HODs, just doing everything that you can do without any money. And then at one point it was like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make this fucking movie. You know, we have it's fully casted, and James, who put up the development money, sold his house to finance the rest. So it was like a truly independent process. And like,
so what budget did you end up with?
It was like around $1 million, like sub $1 million.
And did you find that restrictive at all, or
no? No, I mean, there was like, if anything, it was like I learned a lot. It was when we were doing the $5 million version of this movie, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a lot of like cool tools to play with. I'm gonna get a technocrane, I'm gonna get a lambda, I'm gonna get all these cool things. So I started like designing shots that were like just stupid, you know, really. And like, so once we knew what the real budget was, I was like, okay, I have a tripod, and maybe I'll have a dolly. Maybe.
Did you have a Steadicam or no?
We did have a Steadicam for like 2 days, two or 3 days.
That long shot near
of course.
the end,
yeah,
which stood out, and I was like, that's really cool.
The idea was like no Steadicam in the diner. It was the idea was to feel more restrictive in the diner, and then once he's out, like, you know. But so once I went back to the drawing board and I started changing the shots and like just doing the most simple version, like now I watch the movie and I'm like, oh my God, if I had that crazy opening crane, that like North by Northwest crane shot that I really wanted, like it wouldn't have worked, you know. It's like I had to kind of go back to the simplest version of what serves the story. And now I'm like, I kind of want to take that approach to everything. It's just like go into every shot list with just like, all you have is a tripod, you know. And if you really feel like you're missing something, then get those tools, right? But try and do the most simple version. So,
well, I mean, people are comparing you to Tarantino right now because of the style. No, I mean, it's
I heard someone, I saw someone online describe the film as if the diner scene in Pulp Fiction was a whole movie, which I think, which I think is a compliment for sure, because you know that's all. I mean, I love Pulp Fiction, and that aspect of it was always really entertaining, and I do think that you capture that Tarantino suspense.
Cool.
And just, I mean, there were parts where I was watching this movie just yelling aloud to myself. I'm watching it by myself. I'm just oh shit.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah, and I love it.
And
cool.
it is, and it's this like slow, contained build that like Tarantino does in a lot of his films, especially his early films, where it's like we're not going to go as. Sometimes it's freeing to be limited, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and we just, you know, we've had a lot of filmmakers on who have done incredible franchise work, which we'll talk about, which is coming up for you too, which is really, really exciting. But have started in these kind of like this micro budget world and making shorts or making YouTube series. And I think I don't know, we're having a little bit of a renaissance for like the low budget filmmaker now. It's like it's rising to the top because studios aren't greenlighting these giant projects anymore. Financially, they can't. It's not sustainable right now to do that. So
as it should. I mean, like we as filmmakers, like we have all the information at our fingertips. Like YouTube is free education. DaVinci is free. Like you can do everything yourself. Like when people are like, I need $30,000 to make a short film. No, you don't. Like the post process should be free, because like if you learn how to edit yourself and color and do sound design and do all these things yourself, you're saving so much money, and it's only going to make you a better filmmaker, right? Like if you find an editor and you just throw all your footage to somebody, you're like depriving yourself of a really good education. Sitting down and watching all your footage like over and over and over again and seeing how many times you fucked up, or like, oh, I wasted time getting this shot, or oh man, I missed this shot. Like that is crucial to the process of like, knowing your craft. And like, so I'm always like, go out and like shoot stuff and edit yourself and like learn how to do sound design, do every job on set, so you can like, even if you want to be a director, go out and gaff, go out and do sound. Like you want to have that shorthand with your crew and your HODs, and you want to be like, if you have a company doing sound design, you want to have that shorthand. You want to be able to speak that language, right?
And they'll probably respect you more too, and have a better atmosphere on set. If you can relate to them.
100%. Yeah. So I mean, it's great. Yeah.
I've probably told this story before, but I think it's really relevant with the passing of Roger Corman this week, and we talked about like low budget filmmakers really giving people like the chance to kind of shine. When I was starting out, I was in between reps, and I was negotiating a contract myself, and a producer said to me, and he was a total asshole and totally wrong, but he said to me, you don't know what you're talking about, you're just an actor. And he was totally wrong, because I had been doing this professionally since I was a kid. I knew exactly what I was talking about, but I didn't want anybody to ever be able to say that to me ever again. And so I started working below the line wherever I could. So I would PA, if someone would let me. I'd work in like costume design. I worked as an effects assistant. I worked in post. I like wherever anyone would let me, I would do it. And it was so that I could so nobody could ever say to me, you don't know what you're talking about. Because like, oh no, I do. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think like directors who prioritize that in their teams are the ones who create, I think, some of the best creatives. I didn't work with Roger Corman, but I worked with Lloyd Kaufman, who famously does that. Like I think on his sets, for us, we were all living in a funeral home, and so if I wanted to help paint the set, I was allowed to. If I wanted to work on that effects gag, like go for it, because more hands are more hands. So let's just make it happen.
And it makes a better atmosphere on set. Like I mean, you can ask anybody on that set, and like, we all just had, it was like summer camp every day. We all had a great time, because like, I don't know, I felt like we all respected one another. There was no hierarchy. And that's how it should be. Like we have the coolest fucking job in the world. And if anybody is jaded, like leave, it's, I don't know.
What's your background? Did you go to film school?
No. My background's music. So
two for the today.
I sort of like spent my whole life playing in punk bands.
Oh my God.
Guitar, vocals,
drums.
Okay,
so I started playing drums in bands when I was like 10 years old.
Hell yeah, man.
And then
where are you from originally?
I'm like right around here in Doherty. So, nobody knows where that is. It's like 15 minutes, maybe like 20 minutes east of here.
Okay.
Inland
Empire?
San Gabriel Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tucked away in the suburbs, like away from LA.
Cool.
But yeah, so I started playing drums like at a really early age. Went to college for music.
Do you have a favorite drummer?
A favorite drummer? Josh Freese from the Vandals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did that. I spent my whole 20s like touring in a really shitty van, and like I played drums for this band called Guttermouth for a couple years, and like I did that, and then I broke my wrist when I turned 28, and picked up I couldn't play drums for like 6 months, so I picked up a camera and a T2i with a $100 50 mil, with a nifty 50, dude, and I just made a short film around the house with my wife and I.
Hell yeah.
No crew, nothing. It was just like, if I was operating, she was acting. If she was operating, I was acting. Not an actor.
So when was that?
That was like 2015, 2016. And then I just got the bug, dude. I was like, and I've always been more passionate about film. Like I was always the one in the back of the van watching Hitchcock movies and shit, but it just seems so unobtainable. Like how do you grow up watching Back to the Future and like Star Wars, and you're just like, how the fuck do you do this, right? But then I just kind of did it. I just like got a camera, made a short film. That was fun. And so I started writing scripts based on locations that we had free access to. So my buddy had a desert house out by the Salton Sea. I got my bandmates, my friends together. I'm like, you're going to be a grip and you're going to be an AC. And they were like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, watch this YouTube video. And
you got to pull focus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's like, which way do you go? Yeah. But so we did that. And like, we were able to make these short films for like no money really. And then my buddy had a cabin out in Oregon. So I hauled all my friends up to Oregon, shot this weird black and white, like sci-fi out there. And then that's when I met James and made the feature. So I haven't been doing this a long time, but like, but once I said I want to do it, I was fully committed. I mean, I've been watching like every day. I've been watching multiple movies a night, for the past 15 years. Like I'm obsessed with movies, and I've always sort of studied the craft of filmmaking, but it was just always like, how do you do this? And then you watch like The Evil Dead, and you're like, right, like
stuck a camera on a
exactly, yeah. And that really is. I'm not just saying that because of the whole thing. I'm like, really, The Evil Dead, and like was one of the movies that inspired me to go out with my friends to the middle of fucking nowhere and make something.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, that's so cool because we were just talking to Matt Bettinelli-Alpin, who cites Scream as one of the original Scream as one of his favorite movies.
Oh yeah,
and that inspired him to go into filmmaking. He got to make a Scream. Now, same thing with you.
That's insane.
You get to make
I don't
know.
So, like, those guys are. I remember watching an old interview with them, and he was wearing like a Bad Religion shirt, and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
like,
he's also.
Matt is from a punk music background.
That's why we're like freaking out. I was like, "You guys need to start a punk band. This is like what needs
we'll
to happen."
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember like I called my buddy Scott because he was either wearing like a Minor Threat or a Bad Religion shirt. I was like, "These guys are fucking awesome."
Well, we were just talking about that, and like about this community, and about how like we all geek out on kind of the same things. It's like talk about summer camp. It's epic.
It's like, dude, every time I've like been like, oh my God, I'm gonna meet so and so. 2 seconds into the conversation, what are we doing? We're just talking about movies. Like we're all just fucking nerds. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's all we want to talk about. Like I am the guy, if I'm like in a room with a bunch of people, I'm like not talking to anybody. I'm quiet. And then somebody's like, I hear somebody be like, hey, so did you see the blah blah? And I'm like, movies, you know, and like, and then I become like the biggest extrovert. I'll talk about movies all day long.
So while you were making these shorts, what were you doing to sustain yourself, just like financially?
So I started doing videography for like some like real estate agents and stuff. And
okay. The not glamorous jobs that are still kind of film-ish.
Yeah, I quit once I realized I wanted to do this. I quit my job, and I was like, I'm gonna just do video constantly. So I did that, and then I sort of fell into producing.
Oh,
okay.
I have a weird story. So I, like I said, I was sort of taking any job I could get. I wanted to do everything. And by the way, I like just PA'd on Alex Esso's short, and I PA'd on Jim's short. Like if anybody needs a PA, I'll
you mean like just like within like the past...
within the past 6 months.
Oh,
like,
wow.
That's amazing. I love that.
I don't give up. Like I will, if you need help making your fucking short, I'm there. So my buddy Eric Foss was doing a short film, and he needed an AD, and he was like, I've never AD'd before, so he was like, do you want an AD? I was like, sure, haven't done that one yet. Let's try it.
Yeah, that's assistant directing, and that's kind of the most hated job on set.
Totally. But I was like, I want it. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. So I showed up, and it was fine. But there was I think the grip on that set like hit me up a couple weeks later. He's like, hey, do you want to come AD this music video? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm an AD for sure, you know. And I showed up, and it was like this famous rapper, and it was like a 90-person crew or something like that. And like I showed up, and I was like, they're like, this is Francis is gonna be our AD, and I'm like, like don't walk on the grass. I had no fucking clue what I was doing, but I totally just like bullshitted and like got through the day. Nice. We wrapped on time. The executive producer at this company kind of hired me a few more times to AD, and then all of a sudden was like, hey, do you want to come produce full time? And I was like, sure. And then had to like get this like producing Bible and just like learn how to, and I ended up producing at this label for like 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that guy, Chris Heinrich, he's actually a producer on Last Stop.
Nice.
He's an associate producer because he let us use all of his camera gear.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. We are pulling favors all around.
It makes sense too that you like have this music background, because that I was noting the score when I was watching it, and that was like the Tarantino like I was like, this is so niche. This is really, really cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've scored all my own shorts, and I was planning to do this score. And then my son was born, and I was like, I need to like spend time with my family. This is, you know, I had just got.
You're already writing, directing, and editing it. Too,
I
edited
it. So like, I found Matthew Compton. I mean, I was like auditioning. I had a handful of different composers demo. But as soon as I heard Matt Compton's, I was like, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because he's like, his background is comedy. He did like MacGruber, Pop Star, Palm Springs.
Pop Star.
And he just got it.
Dude. It has this dark comedy element to it. Like we had Sierra McCormick on too, and like watching her in that role was so fun.
Yeah.
Like it's so different than
even
who
just
she
her
is.
styling is so great.
I was just like, oh, I'm like living for this girl. I want her wardrobe. You know?
I was just talking to Jim about that because like I think some people, if they read the script, they're like, oh, this is a serious thriller. And then I met with Jim, and 2 minutes into the conversation, he's like, oh, this is a dark comedy. Now that I know you, this is a dark comedy. I'm like, yeah, 100. You thought this was serious? No, dude. Like, you know, like because these characters are so absurd. I mean, it's supposed to be fun, and it's funny to watch this movie with an audience and like listen for when people realize like it's okay to laugh. You know what I mean? And it happens every time, and it's always different. Like which moment people realize like, oh, okay, I can laugh at the absurdity of this.
Yeah.
Between the tone of the film and, you know, the comparisons other people have made, like, is Tarantino an influence? Are you a big fan, or do you find other influences from other filmmakers?
He's amazing. Like,
okay.
You know, but that wasn't really what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was more like Sam Peckinpah, Don Siegel, that sort of grittiness. But like, of course, right? Like I grew up watching Tarantino. I grew up watching the Coen brothers. So I get a lot of comparisons, and I'm like, well, yeah, like you never like, I love movies, and I'm like inevitably going to write shit that I love, like without knowing. Like,
like Richard Briggs's brother seems like a Coen Brothers character.
Just
like the hapless criminal.
I was writing the script, and I watched I Care a Lot, and I saw Nick, and I was like, that's Travis. That's the fucking guy that I'm writing right now. But yeah, like, you know, I just rewatched Stanley Kubrick's The Killing, and like the ending with the money flying around. I was like, is that where I got it from? I have no idea. Like, you know, obviously there's a lot of references to movies in the movie. It's like, but no, honestly, I never pitched this as a Tarantino thing, ever. Like it was always like, this is a dusty film noir. That was my pitch. It's a moral dilemma movie. Like, and it was always a noir. I mean, a lot of people called it a Western. I was like, sure, it's a whatever.
I think Western matter. In that it's where it's set, but
there
I don't
are cowboy hats.
Aesthetically,
aesthetically.
It's like you can look at the diner as like a saloon. Yeah, there are. But I always said, I remember the first time I met with Jim, I kept calling it a noir, and he was like, you keep calling this movie a noir. It's not really a noir. It's more of a Western. I was like,
Sure.
Agree to disagree.
All things. When you were, so this is really interesting to me because you had a casting. Your casting director David is a sweetheart, by the way.
He's the best.
Love him.
Yeah. Immediately we became like, he's my cinephile buddy.
He's awesome. We've never met in person. We've just DM'd each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And after our last episode or with Jocelyn, I talked about how I don't look at Letterboxd because I don't
either.
It makes the people aren't always the nicest, you know, and I for my sanity I can't do that. But he screenshot a positive review on Letterboxd and DM'd it to me, and now we're like buddies. But so I'm curious though, because it seems like such a unique relationship that you guys had, where you were normally your casting director is auditioning people, sends them to you, you kind of like figure it out from there. But you guys were targeting. Was he instrumental in that and helping you figure out? Yeah,
so the version of this movie where we had to get the Bruce Willis version, like I think we were both unhappy with like what it was. And like he was just like, look, I'm just doing the thing that you hired me for. There's no passion behind it, right? So as soon as like it was ours again, then like David and I got to rip, right? Then it was just like, all right, let's fucking go. Like there was obviously a handful of these actors that like I already had in mind. I was like, we're gonna go out to Nick, we're gonna go out to Sierra, we're gonna go out to Jocelyn. I fought for Jim, like, and then once we had like a handful in there, then it became really fun with David, because then it was just like, cool, like let's like fill out the rest with these sort of like indie darlings. So it like, it was like he had worked with He had worked with Barbara before, right? He had worked with.
He did Suitable Flesh. He was the casting
director. Yeah. Okay. And he worked with Gene Jones.
Oh, okay.
Like, so a lot of these actors he had casted before, so it was really easy to get those letters.
That's just so cool to hear. I feel like you don't hear that kind of working relationship with. They're like the unsung heroes sometimes.
Yeah,
the casting
totally.
directors, and who like know all these like niche actors and like who would fill something like that. And that's what part of the thing that makes the film so great is the performances that you're able to get out of everybody. It's just.
My wife told me a funny story because I'm sure I was relentless with David. I mean, I was probably calling him every day, and he came up to Rachel at the premiere, my wife, and he's like, "Ah, man, I just love the movie so much," or whatever. And Rachel goes, "David, don't lie. Like, I know my husband drove you fucking nuts." And he was like, "Yeah, every time I was with my family, I would get a call, and my family would go, 'Is that Galluppi calling?' And I'm like, oh my god,
oh
my god, I need to back the fuck off." But no, it was great. He's like one of my closest friends. We talk about movies all the time, and like, it was just a great working relationship talking about how to fill this, like, stack this fucking thing with my favorite actors.
But I feel like you had to. Like, it wasn't just like you were doing everything, but like someone's freaking house was on the line. Like, I'm serious. True. Like, that's like. The word was okay. So this is a show where we talk about fears and nightmares and things that scare us. Were you? I would have been terrified that this man was going to lose his house because of me. Like, were you scared?
100%. I told him no so many times. Yeah. Like, he brought it up over and over again. I was like, "Don't do that. That's fucking crazy, and it's so much pressure. Don't do that." Yeah. But then it was just like, okay, well, this is the only way it's going to get made. Like, we have all these actors that said, it's the only way it's going to get made. Like, it's a period piece. No studio is going to finance a movie like this. Like, which is fucking crazy because like right now it's like, or last night it was number 5 on iTunes. And it's like, that's crazy. Yeah. We're so small. Like, our budget of this movie is probably like the budget of one actor's fucking rate on it's crazy, right? Like, fucking Godzilla came out and fucked everything up, but it's okay.
Damn it, Godzilla.
Yeah, it's okay.
He strikes again.
Yeah. No. Adam Wingard's awesome. So.
James, how much do you love Factor meals?
I love Factor meals because I don't have time, Catherine. Time is something that
you don't have it.
It just slips away through my fingers every day, and I think about how much time is leaving me, and I'm like, oh, but I have to eat to sustain myself, and I don't have time to make food.
There's just too many minutes in the day. You're having an existential crisis. You're like, I don't know how I'm going to do it all. And
exactly, but I do have 2 minutes to make a Factor meal.
To put it in the microwave. It comes pre-made. It's delicious. It's healthy. It's specified to your dietary needs.
That's right.
Big into fitness.
I've got them. Yeah, my trainer is like, hey man, you gotta stop eating all these high fat things. You gotta eat better.
And I'm like, eat the Factor meals.
Don't worry, I got Factor.
And so it works out. So if you want to try Factor yourself, or if you're just too busy, or you forget to eat like I do, it's like a neurological thing. I feel like I don't.
You gotta remember to eat.
I know. I feel like I don't feel hunger. This is like a real thing.
Oh yeah.
I think I have a neurological imbalance where I don't feel hunger.
Oh no.
I don't know. It's like an evolutionary mechanism. But anyway, thanks to Factor meals, I don't have to worry about that, about accidentally killing myself from starvation. I can just use Factor. And if you want to use Factor and support the show, you can go to factormeals.com/screamdreams50 and use the code screamdreams50.
Why is it 50?
Because 50% off.
That's right.
50% off to get, or no, it's not. That's a lie. Wait, actually, yes, it is. 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box. So so it's like a double whammy. It's like Scream Dreams 50, you get 50, and then 20. What's that? That's 70, really, when you think about it.
That's not math, but but that first one is half off.
It is half off.
Which is great.
So if you want to support the show, head to factormeals.com/screamdreams50 and use the code screamdreams50 to get 50% off your first box and then 20% off your next box. That's code
screamdreams50
at
screamdreams50 factor.com.
Factor.com/screamdreams50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next box while your subscription is active. Don't starve to death. Get Factor meals.
Do it.
You know what's a nightmare? dehydration.
Yeah. You know what's an even worse nightmare? Plastic pollution.
That's why we love Liquid Death and their evil mission to murder your thirst and kill plastic pollution.
That's right. Their aluminum cans are as metal as they get. So pick some up today, because we all need something refreshing to reach for when we wake up from a nightmare.
It's true. Cheers.
How old are your kids?
My daughter's 4 and my son is 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giving them these giant burgers? Just
force them down.
We're not leaving until you get it down.
They're preparing for a zombie apocalypse. They need
Yeah. Do you see how skinny? I need to eat burgers like that.
Do you find yourself forgetting to eat because you're working?
All the time.
Same.
Yep, dude, too.
This
all
is
the
such
time.
a normal...
My trainer gets so mad at me because he's like, dude, you gotta
eat.
Oh, especially when I'm editing or writing.
Right?
I'm like, it's like 8 o'clock. It's like 8 p.m. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it just goes by like that. So now Rachel will like knock on my door and be like, here's a sandwich. It's really nice.
One of my like stress relievers is like boxing and mixed martial arts.
Oh, cool.
I'm a big or the gym in general. Like I'm a big fitness nerd.
So nobody fuck with you.
No.
Yeah.
I'm coming back from an injury, so maybe
Now's the
time.
A while.
But I think but I've learned like because I'll forget to be like, why am I shaking? And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten. I've just drank a pot of coffee and nothing else.
That's it, dude.
Trait.
Just
that's what I will drink
Yeah.
up. It's disgusting. I will drink an entire pot of coffee.
Yeah,
me too.
By myself
every day.
Every day.
Every day.
It's disgusting.
And we're all like, why can't we sleep?
God
That's
damn it,
so true.
show.
I say that all the
We're all
time.
sitting there, we're like, it's our stress. It's the
I know.
capitalism. Maybe you need
Maybe
to drink
it's
so
just
much
a coffee.
The cup of coffee I had at 6 p.m. That's probably doing
I'll
it.
drink coffee at like 9 p.m. And my wife is always like, you're not going to sleep tonight. I'm like, this doesn't do anything. And then I don't sleep. And she's like, I told you not to drink that coffee. I'm like, it's not the coffee. It's not the coffee. It's totally the coffee.
My like self-compromise is, especially if I'm like out somewhere that late, I'll get decaf. Which like I think still has a little bit of caffeine.
I think it does. Yeah.
I'll be like, I won't be mean to myself. I'll just get some decaf.
I need to start doing
green tea instead. I don't think it. I think
green tea still has. It's not as much as like black tea.
But it says caffeine. I'm still up. I don't like.
I realized I'm allergic to Earl Grey.
Oh,
what? That's really specific.
It was so weird. So I tried to stop drinking coffee at night, and I got a bunch of Earl Grey tea, and like every night.
Isn't that black tea?
Black tea is just as much coffee.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very caffeinated.
Wait,
it's very. It's probably whatever. But so I was like every night I was like, oh man, my fucking like, I'm getting really. My throat is all swollen, and it's like it's kind of hard to breathe. And every night I was saying this, and my wife just goes, oh my God, you're allergic to that tea. And like, I just didn't even.
It's like a minor allergy.
Like,
it didn't click.
Yeah. Okay, so we keep exploring this on the show. We're like, why can't we sleep?
Yeah,
what are our nightmares? And we've come to the conclusion.
It's just coffee.
It's just the coffee.
Yeah.
Well, typically we also have, we're missing the amazing Barbara Crampton, who's also in Last Stop in Yuma County, which I'm going to plug it till the cows come home. We've switched from horses to cows. Go see it in the theaters, for the love of God. Please see your movies in theaters.
Yes, thank you.
We normally play a game.
Okay.
And we didn't print it out, so we're gonna pass my phone back and forth.
Okay.
Barbara Crampton is not here.
Okay.
Today, she is in the beyond, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And this game, since we miss her, this game is entitled "Would You Do This with Barbara Crampton?" Who just texted me?
I would just say
yes.
Yeah,
I know. I was gonna say like, what are you gonna say no to?
Who just texted me? By the way, how's everything going? I'm on night shoot, so I'm gonna bet she's just waking up.
Yeah.
The last game that we played was, what is Barbara doing right now? The answer is
sleeping.
She was sleeping. Maybe not though. We'll see. We'll have to ask her. Okay, so we're gonna go through a list, and you have to tell me.
It's gonna be
tell both of us.
Everything. Yeah,
okay.
But yeah, no.
All right, let's try it.
Let's do it.
Would you hire Barbara Crampton to be your pyrotechnician?
Oh. No.
Okay. Would you let Barbara Crampton pull focus?
Yeah, I think Barbara would.
I think she has an eye for it.
Yeah, she's got an eye for it, for sure.
Yeah.
Blowing shit up, though.
Yeah. And pull, there's usually a marker you can put
there,
exactly.
Yeah.
Line it up.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yes.
Would you entrust Barbara Crampton to manage the picture car budget?
Oh God.
Wait, what do you mean? The picture car budget? Is that just like
the budget just for the
for
picture
cars,
specifically
just for the cars
themselves?
Okay.
Yeah, I think
You don't think she would go overboard with like luxury vehicles?
I don't know. Is she bougie like that? I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't call Barbara
I don't want to call
bougie.
Barbara bougie, but she does have.
She has a carnival background.
She
She
does.
comes
Yeah.
from the
Yeah,
carnies.
she
Really?
does.
Yeah.
She's
I
not
didn't know
bougie, but I
that.
will say she has excellent taste.
Yes.
Okay.
Like
I like a
very-
real beat down car. So
I don't think Barbara does
maybe-
a beat down car.
Yeah.
But solid, reliable, practical.
Yeah, after a conversation, a creative conversation about what kind of cars, yes, I would let her manage the.
Would you let Barbara Crampton cut your hair?
Well, my wife cuts my hair, so
Okay. So no. That sounds like a no.
sorry, Barbara. Yeah, does she cut hair?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then no.
That's another
Well, even
element.
though actually I changed my answer. Yes, because it doesn't fucking matter because I wear hats every single day.
Okay, I was
So-
wondering if like you're just always on.
Always has to be.
Anytime I'm doing anything, my wife is like, "Can you please do your hair today?" And so I like we had our premiere last week, and like she like forced me to do my hair.
And what is do? I hope it's down and then with a little ramp. At the
No,
top,
no,
just
it's
like,
like-
like 2006.
It's pretty much just like,
I love it.
yeah. That is so
That's the sound
2006.
that
right?
haircut makes.
Yeah. No, it's just I don't know. I just put a little pomade in it. I guess
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like pretty much like this. I
That'd
don't
be
know.
good.
It's a good look. I like it.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
your wife
fun.
does a good job.
Thank you. Yeah.
Where-
I'll let her.
she-
I'll tell her.
They should
Does she
people.
trim the stash too? Or?
No.
Okay.
she hates the stash, dude.
How long have you had it?
I started growing it out like I don't know, a few months before we shot Yuma, and then I was just
okay.
like, fuck
Is it
it.
just
Oh,
your
you're like,
director
this
stash?
is just.
I just
This is my sophisticated director.
Yeah,
self.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is what was it, Francois?
Francois Galluppi. Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm just so used to it. I'm like, it's not going. It's here to
I feel
stay.
like Francois Galluppi also has like a soul patch.
Soul patch?
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Ooh.
I when we were at Sitch's, like I got up there to we won a thing there, and they were like Francis Galluppi, and I went up there and I had my mustache, and somebody said to me at the after party, they were like, the last language that I expected to come out of your fucking mouth was English. Like, and it's so true. Like, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
Well, I think you should lean into it. Maybe on Evil Dead, only speak in a different language every day.
Well,
Kandarian.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I did this thing on set where I would speak gibberish, and everybody on set thought I was speaking Italian, and I just went with it, and I didn't tell anybody.
Can you speak Italian?
No.
I want to. Can you do your gibberish?
No, because
Italian?
people are gonna get fucking offended. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, yeah, exactly.
He was
yeah.
media trained before
Yeah,
this interview.
yeah.
Okay. Would you have would you sleep talk with Barbara? Like have a conversation in your sleep?
That'd be fun. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm down.
Are you down?
Yeah.
He's laughing at these.
Would you entrust Barbara to oversee all your podcast appearances for the rest of time?
Like, is she just standing there, like, watching me the whole time?
Yeah, right.
Booking them?
Oh my God, no.
No,
Fucking,
wow.
yeah, I don't know. I would be so like, did I say the right thing? Did I? Whatever.
It's a lot
She's-
of pressure
It's a lot of
having
pressure.
Barbara listening from beyond.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
You
yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
a lot.
say, Barbara, go in the other room for a minute, please. No, she's awesome. I'll change my answer. I'll say, yeah. I
You
can
say
hang
yeah.
out with Barbara every day.
I
Yeah.
would let Barbara manage my life. I
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah, totally.
in that vein, would you let Barbara choose one single pair of pajamas that you must wear for the rest of time?
1,000%. 100%. I don't give a
Well,
shit.
butt flap.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Yep.
that's
Onesie
do
with a
they
butt
still
flap.
make those?
They better.
They need to bring.
It's a
If they
timeless
don't, they need
classic.
to bring them back, dude. Yeah.
I think you have one more you can choose, and then we'll close it out.
Okay. Would you shop for a quality mattress with Barbara?
Yes. Yes.
So
How are you?
from our
Are you guys using like ChatGPT, or how are you coming up with this?
Yeah,
dude? Like-
We're looking. Honestly, I came up with these when I was not able to sleep last night.
okay, there you go. Too much coffee.
Exactly how I came up with these.
Yeah.
We need a mattress sponsor, Sealy's or whoever.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Don't say any names. Bleep that out.
Yeah.
No
Who
free
wants to come in?
No
Who
free
wants to
advertisement.
sponsor? Yeah.
If you would like to sponsor to sponsor Scream Dreams, perhaps Francis, Barbara, James, and I will go and test your mattress in store
I am so down.
as a segment.
Yeah.
for the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
I will report back.
Yeah, we'll report back. Yeah, please. I need a new mattress. So
would you return to this show when Barbara Crampton can join us?
Of course. As many times as you guys want me. So
thank you
I'll be back.
so much for being here.
Yeah, before we go, we'd like to ask our guests what their nightlight is, which means, what keeps you going amidst all the anxiety-filled dreams and nightmares and just cruelty of the world.
My family, my friends, I've had the same friends since freshman year of high school and before that. Those are the people I hang out with. Like,
that's great, man.
We play games on Friday nights and they're not even into film.
Yeah.
They're like, so yeah, friends, family, and movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm going to leave music out of it. It's like I barely even listen to music anymore. Like I'm always listening to podcasts.
Oh,
you're a big podcaster.
Any favorites?
Yeah.
Obviously this one.
Yes, 100%.
He's a regular listener.
Yeah. Team Deacons is a big one. It's Roger Deakins' podcast. Yeah. It's like it's a super nerdy podcast.
Are they usually film podcasts?
Yeah, it's all like just like technical shit. So I really like that one. What else? The DGA podcast, which is like director on director, so that one's interesting. Conan is fucking hilarious. And you guys?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Did during the strike, did you listen to that? What was it? Strike Force? It was like all the late night guys together.
Strike Force 5. Or
I don't remember if Conan was there, but it was like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh wow.
I forget.
I listened to it a couple times. It was funny.
Who else was the host? Was Seth in there? Seth Meyers?
Think once or I don't think it was always the same.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I only.
It was a cool thing where they were like,
cool.
"We're gonna do this," and I think they used the money to pay their crews.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. It's just like interesting assembly of those minds.
Okay, cool.
That's such a unique job to have.
Yeah, totally, man.
The Dead Meat podcast is also a fabulous podcast.
Okay, that's yours. Okay, cool. Awesome.
That is fabulous. Highly recommend. And but if you are listening or watching a clip, you should also listen and watch our podcast. You can do it. On all major podcast platforms. You can subscribe to the Patreon. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch the clips on the socials.
There you go.
You can do those things.
You can do those things. You can
ring that bell on YouTube.
Yes, you can.
Subscribe.
Please do so. Where can the people, if they want to find more or listen to more or watch more of your work, where can they do it? The people of the internet, the people of the world.
The people of the internet.
Yeah, do you do any social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter or X or whatever. I need to be better at it, but it's just at my name, at Francis Galluppi.
Okay.
And you can watch Last Stop on iTunes and Amazon, and you can pre-order the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you can pre-order the Blu-ray.
Hey, I'm glad that you have a Blu-ray.
Yes,
not all movies do.
Massive physical media collector.
Yeah, I've got over like 600 just horror movies on Blu-ray.
Oh, I'll show off my collection.
Oh, cool.
This.
Yeah, we'll have to compare.
Yeah.
One day that'll be the follow-up to the mattress segment. We tour your Blu-ray.
Yeah, totally. Dude, I'll just talk for fucking 24 hours straight. Well, this movie and that movie.
Yeah.
That's usually what every time my friends come over or like new people come over to play games on Friday nights, we typically I end up like, we don't play a game. We're just by my Blu-ray wall talking about movies for fucking hours.
By games, do you mean like board games?
Board games,
What do you got? What do you?
We've been playing a lot of Codenames.
Oh, Codenames is great.
So much fun. Fishbowl. You guys get down on Fishbowl?
I haven't played Fishbowl.
No. Oh, it's so fun. Should I explain the rules?
Is that an actual?
No, you just get a bunch of little pieces of paper and you write a noun on there and then you fold it up. I think everyone gets seven words put in the bowl. The first go around, you can say like as many things to describe this one word.
Yep.
And then you tally it up, fold them back in, put them back in the bowl. The
Next
second
round
time,
is you say one word.
Yep. You've played.
And then the last round is
charades.
Charades.
Yeah. It's so much fun.
Great game. Honestly, I haven't played that in like 6 years or something, and you just reminded me that it exists, and it makes me want to go play it.
Oh, it's so much fun, dude.
Awesome.
People get rowdy playing Fishbowl. Yeah. How about you?
Small World. You ever play that?
I haven't heard that.
It's not quite Risk, but it is a like take over regions, but you get to play with different races and powers.
Okay.
And it just becomes this like horrendous everyone hates each other game, which are always the best.
Yeah. That's cool.
There's this secret identity game called Salem. So it's kind of like a werewolf-esque where like some people are witches, some people are townspeople, but it's really good. Another one where people get really mad at each other.
Yeah. Those are the best ones.
Yeah, and Everdell.
Have you played Cinephile? Have you guys played Cinephile?
No, but I feel like we should play this.
You should, but we should play because nobody wants to play with me. Every time I'm like, hey, you guys want to play Cinephile? Nobody wants to play Cinephile with you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The one time I did play, I just had to like change the rules to make it easier. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, I'm assuming, a movie trivia-esque
Totally
game?
movie trivia. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like more obscure,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went over to Jim's house and he had it and I was like, we can play together, but we haven't played it together yet. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. That was so much fun.
This is so much fun. Yeah. Please check out Last Stop in Yuma County. Do all the things, like all the things. I think I already did this. Anyway, we're done for the day. Not for the day, but for this. Anyway, whatever. This has been Francis Galluppi. It's been awesome. I'm Catherine Corcoran.
And I'm James A. Janisse. Be sure to leave the light on.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.